Klein's Sound and Fury begins with an angry gesture from the first violins made up of accented notes that move stepwise up and down a scale. This gesture is repeated by the cellos on the exact same pitches. This idea shoots back to the first violins. There's a little change to the end of it, and there's a bit of support added from the second violins. And then the idea goes back to the cellos. You hear it down an octave with a bit of support from the violas. This is antiphony, one idea alternating back and forth across two sections of the orchestra. You can also call it call and response. The violins call out with their idea, the cellos respond back with theirs. It's a technique that composers have been using for centuries, and Anna Klein uses it here to create an extremely exciting beginning to her piece. The idea flies around the orchestra, the texture thickens, and we grow to a climax with a fanfare rhythm. So here's the first minute or so of her piece. Another technique, question and answer, takes this idea one stage further. So the orchestra is still split into two teams, but now the call is different to the response. So you have one idea that's maybe open-ended, it sounds like a question, and then you have a response that closes the phrase. Back in the classical periods, composers used this idea all the time. Their question would end away from the tonic key, maybe with an imperfect cadence, and their answer would bring the music back to the home key. Anna is using different harmonic rules to the classical composers, but we can still get a sense of question and answer within her music. Here's a question phrase from the horns. It's a short military fanfare in A flat. The answer comes from the strings, a rising, bouncy figure in D. Now, whilst these two ideas aren't following the traditional rules of harmony, we still get a sense of the question from the horns and later the full brass section, and the answer from the strings. And this continues back and forth several times. These two ideas are actually a tritone apart, A flat to D, and that's an interval that classical composers really avoided. They called it the interval of the devil. So Anna Klein could not be breaking the rules more in this extract. Her question and answer is more about two characters than it is about the key. So here's the full section. Once she's established her question and answer, she starts to develop around the ideas. So keep listening out for that short fanfare idea, and then you'll always know where you are within the structure.